Whoa, it's very windy out there, isn't it? Welcome to Britain. Hey guys, I'm Cam. Welcome to Make the Movement. This is going to be the channel to bring you vlog style content, taking you through my day and a cheeky gym sesh. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. At the gym. Now it is time to get our sesh in. We'll do an all body push pull sesh. So let's get right into it. Gym, a very good pump, full body, push and pull. There we are, pretty much full. 40 quid later. Is anybody struggling with anxiety out there? I've got a couple of tips for you. What I did to overcome the anxiety when I was younger was I asked myself, why am I overthinking this? And once I realised what I was overthinking, because I used to overthink things from the way I looked, the way I smelt, the way I dressed, every little thing, every minute thing down to my breathing pattern. And once I realised that actually there was no need to be anxious, there's no need to overthink it, I realised that the people sat on the bus when I was going to college, or the people who are walking in town as I'm walking in town, they don't notice you. Unless you know people, they don't notice you. Like, they just walk straight past you. So when I recognised how people are in their own world, their own bubble, their own friendship group, or whoever they're with, they're in their own zone, and it's very easy to think of somebody else's perspective. But again, if we're not living in other people's bodies, then why are we trying to think, oh, how does that person perceive me? Instead, it should be a thing of, how do I feel in myself, rather than what does that person apparently, allegedly think of me? And once I recognized that actually I live in my body, not in someone else's mindset, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But you've just got to take a step back and say, I'm not living here for them. I'm living on this earth for me. And once you, again, practice that and make that become a bit of a routine, things become so much easier. But until then, you'll be stuck in that overthinking cycle. That's what I call it. Where you overthink, you overprocess, use all this mental energy that drains your physical energy. It's so unnecessary. There's no need for it at all. And I know it's very easy to say it, but trust me, when I was younger, even like 6 years ago, my anxiety, my social anxiety anyway, was so high. Like, I cannot emphasize on how high it was. Like, I would be sweating, I'd be breathing so harsh. It was ridiculous. But now I can go into the gym like today, I can record and then talk to people. You know, people walk into the gym, people know who I am, and that's only because I've built up that social following, that social network of people, which actually now despite all the anxiety initially years ago, I don't feel anxious now. I can walk into the gym, I can walk into a shop in town, and I'll probably bump into a friend or an acquaintance, but that's only because I've got to know people. And actually, that's lowered my anxiety because I feel safer, I feel more comfortable knowing those people. Now, I'm not saying anybody watching has got to do that, but again, that perspective of I'm here on this earth for me compared to thinking of what other people think. Once you get that mentality and you put that into practice, everything becomes a lot smoother, a lot easier to process. And it's like even now driving with this camera sat here and be able to talk to all of you watching, this is a lot easier for me to do compared to 6 years ago. And it might take you a month, it might take you a year, but as long as you stay committed and determined, you can make that change. You can make that movement. So when it comes to overthinking, why are you anxious? Why are you overthinking? What can you do to change it? And also, people don't notice you. Unless they're friends or family, people do not notice you. If you draw attention to yourself, slamming weights down in the gym, moaning and groaning in the gym when you're lifting going through a deadlift or something, or you're out in town, you drop something, someone turns around and looks. Unless there's something drawing attention to yourself directly, people do not notice you. How many times do you go to Tesco or you go to Primark and you go to the till, you're waiting in the queue. How many people look at you? Not many. So next time you go to the shop, for example, when you're in a queue, nobody notices you. So if you start getting a bit anxious or something, just think to yourself, I'm here for me, not for other people, because they're just queuing just to get their groceries or their clothes. That's all people are doing. But if you sit there or stand there overthinking, overprocessing, you waste so much mental energy thinking about other people. It's just not worth it. Not worth it, bro. Not worth it. And that's the thing. I've been driving now for 6 years. When it first came to driving, I remember I used to always tell myself, make sure you get adequate, like optimal, adequate sleep before you go out for your lessons. There's times now when I go with minimal sleep and I drive, but it took time for me to get used to driving, get used to changing gear, not looking down at the gear stick and things like that. Making sure I was looking straight, checking my mirrors. It took me, not long, but it was still part of a routine. I know people now who have been driving for longer than I've been alive, and they've never driven on the motorway. And I just think you've been driving best part of 30 years and you've never gone on the motorway. And it's because they left it so long and they become so anxious where they're just terrified to drive on the motorway. So you've got to put yourself out your comfort zone. When I started socializing with people in clubs, when I turned 18, 19, I thought, you know what, if I approach people and I get rejected, then so be it. But at least I've tried to socialize. If I then don't bother, then I'll just be stuck in my head. But now I've got people who I can call at any point and they can call me at any point and we'll be there for each other. But again, you've got to put yourself out there to get to know people, to then develop those connections, which then in turn reduces anxiety. So that's something that I've definitely learned. But if there's anything that I can help people with, like I said, I'm all for it. I've always tried to support and inspire people, and together I want us all to support each other as a community of people, and together we can make that movement. So that being said, I'm going to wrap up the vlog here, and it's not been that interesting, probably been a bit boring, but like I said, I've got things coming from the next vlog. So every single week, every single Monday, I'll be uploading. And if there's anything you guys want to see, anybody who wants to collaborate, anybody who's got any editing tips or anything you want to share with me or other people, leave it down below. So please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below what you'd like to see. Together, we can make the movement. Much love, and stay safe.